All right, worst to best. Everybody knows the rules. Yeah, okay, not really. But you know that Dave Portnoy guy that does the one bite pizza reviews, and that's how he starts like one bite. Everybody knows the rules. I want to get to that point, people. I want to get to that point where I'm like, hi, Taylor, worst to best. Everybody knows the rules because that's how I do these reviews. Anyways, it is May 18th. Holy crap! How the hell is it May already? May 18th, 2022. And this is the Cranky comic book review brought to you from the Dungeon of Air Conditioning. Whatever. I'm in a basement. I got shit around me. I need to put some comic book stuff up. I don't have any. I mean, I have comics. I have comic stuff. I'm just too lazy to put up around me and commit. I'm a commitment phobe. Worst to best. Everybody knows the rules. All right. This is not a great week for comics. I bought, 14 of them? I read 14 of them. I like 2.5. We'll see. I don't know. We're going to start this one. And there's a couple contenders for worst comic book this week. But this one just pissed me off. This is Shadow Warzone. Number 1. This is set in the events of the Shadow War, which is pretty much a non-event in DC, where someone's trying to kill Deathstroke because they think he killed Ra's al Ghul. And these are like side stories that have no effect on the main plot. And it's at least, instead of like carrying it over into all the books, oh no, like they did that too. This is just DC doing DC, selling more DC shit to DC fans of DC books. It's the event book that does not matter. It is, Marvel does this, DC does this, it is annoying, and this is annoying. You get a main tale. What is it, Batman? I can't even fucking remember. Like, these are so non-memorable for the most part that, like, because they just don't, nothing happens in here that matters to the story. The thing that I do remember is the last story features a ghost hunter, or ghost killer, ghost clown hunter, ghost face killer, whatever this stupid person and the clown hunter in the world's dumbest new costume in a really dumb training story. I remember that much. What's the middle one? Oh, yeah. The middle one is, what's her face? Black Siren Blondie. This one, the screaming one. She screams. And the front story, the front story is, there's 4 stories, right? Yeah, there's 4. There's a Talia al Ghul story about how Talia was misunderstood growing up. And then there's a Batman, some nonsense in the beginning that doesn't matter. This is just, honestly, this is a $6 of just DC taking people's money for no goddamn reason, and it's fucking annoying. All right, next. I mean, again, this was not very good either. Savage Avengers number 1. I did not read any of the previous run of Savage Avengers. I'm familiar, at least, with most of these characters. This is like the really awkward setup as to how these characters sort of get together, although it's really awkwardly told. There's an omniscient narrator, which I hate that storytelling device for the most part, and I hated it here. And the art is really, really uneven. Like, there is a really tiny-handed Deathlock in here that I was like, oh, well, that is almost as bad as Liefeld's feet. Even on the cover, the foreshortening hand of Deathlock. Look how small that little baby hand is. It's like baby-handed Deathlock. And then you have Weapon H and the Elektra and Black Knight and Anti-Venom and Conan, because otherwise it wouldn't be Savage Avengers without Conan. Although Marvel's losing the rights to Conan, so who the hell knows how the hell that's going to happen. It's just a stupid book. It's not stupid fun. It is just stupid. And it's like, it's a dumb setup. It's just the way they told it. I really, really hated this one. It could be another worst book of the week. How am I? Yeah, hang on a second. This order got all out of whack here on me because I was taking photos and trying to do covers and stuff and things, and we're gonna do this. We're shifting it around on the fly. I'm not editing this out because whatever. All right, here we go. Yeah, am I doing this? No, I'm doing this. Fables 151. I read part of the first run of Fables many years ago, and I enjoyed it. It's Bill Willingham on the writing, and he's like got this whole big universe he's set up with fairy tale creatures. It's kind of like that Once Upon a Time TV show that pretty much sucked, except for this book didn't really suck. There was a big bad guy that was a fun reveal in there, and that much I remember, but it has been years and years and years since I touched it. I don't think I finished it. I think I kind of dropped off somewhere in the middle, and so then I picked this up, and I figured, okay, it's going to kind of be like Saga, where you could like jump in and have some idea what's going on. Nah. No, this is a bad, weird starting place. Like, if you are not familiar with Fables, there's no like recap really, and there's no like, hey, previously, or hey, to get you caught up on the story, or hey, we realize it's been years since we did this shit, so like, we're gonna give you some idea what's going on. It's not a lot of that to hear, and there's just not enough. Where like, I read this, I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on, and if you've never read Fables, I don't think you have a shot in hell of understanding what's going on in here. It's one of those. I don't think I just said it's one of those. Whatever. Um, you know how like non-comic readers are intimidated to pick up comic books because they pick it up and they're lost. Like there's 800 issues of Batman or Spider-Man or whatever, and it's pretty intimidating. And like you're just gonna not really know what you're in for. That's this. Like it's just kind of intimidating. You don't really know what you're in for, and I don't know. Also, Buckingham draws this margin art on everything, which I get. It's a design choice, but it is really distracting and really kind of irritating. So I just really didn't care for this one either. I had really high hopes for it, and this is probably my disappointment of the week, just because I'm like, I don't know what give me some inroads so I know what's going on. Give me at least a new character. I think there might be a new character, but like it's not a good inroads character. Like you need some way to draw a new audience in on this, and this did not do that. All right. Yeah. Silk number 5. This is, I think, the last issue of this one. And I think it might be a different artist on this. I'm not sure. It's Takashi Miyazawa. The art felt like kind of like weirdly blocky and stuff compared to the others, but I could just be misremembering it. Also, I think I literally skipped an issue of this, and it didn't matter. Like, it's not because it's excellent storytelling. It's because not much happened. I really think I picked up 1, 2, and 3. I think I missed 4, and this is 5. This is the wrap up. It's a boring wrap up, and then you get the boring like point of this miniseries, which is Silk learns to be Silk. Holy crap! Tell an original story. Have something new to bring to storytelling. Have just something. And I get there's like according to like the what is it Joseph Conrad, there's only so many stories that can be told. And like he broke it down in writing theory and stuff. But have a spin on it that's at least interesting. There's nothing interesting or new or whatever. It's just like, oh, a superhero learns to be a superhero because superheroes have to save the world because they're superheroes. So it's a cyclical. Nah. All right, Donny Cates, Turbation, part 11,000. It's Thor, so I read Thor. The Banner War almost got me to drop this fucking title. Part of my language. Don't part of my language. I don't care. It's one. Cranky comics. Everybody knows the rules. Different artists on here. Martin Coccolo, not Nick Klein. I don't know if Nick Klein's done. I'm not sure. This is another bigger, more expensive issue. Yeah, it's $6 issue with backup stories. There's a backup story by Ron Mars and Tom DeFalco. It's okay. It's definitely an older style of storytelling with comics. There's thought balloons. It's the Enchantress. It's not fantastic, but it's not awful. And then there's the final story by Nadia Shamas and Simone de Armini. Did not like that one. That is a Loki story. It was told much better, like about a year ago, in Norse mythology by P. Craig Russell, based on stories. Well, based on Norse mythology, but based on like the adaptations by Neil Gaiman. That was much better than this. And the art was much. I kind of hated the art in the last arc. The first bit, the Donny Cates and Coccolo story, is like sort of getting into. It's not a Thor story at all in this issue. It's Banner and Odin, and it's a weird one. It takes place mostly in Banner's psyche, and like he's trying to sort of explain what's going on with Banner and like why this whole thing's happening, but it's just a kind of a clunky way of doing it, and like I think we're gonna find out there's some big nefarious force behind it all, and it's not. I don't know. Nothing about this is exciting to me at all. At all. It's better than Banner War Alpha, but that was goddamn awful. So this is at least a step above it. I just want it to be over. I really do. All right. Speaking of wanting it to be over, no, not real. How am I gonna? Yeah, I'm gonna do this one. I want BLACKHAMMER Reborn number 12. Jeff Lemire, Caitlin Yarsky, Dave Stewart on colors, and Nate Picos on lettering, I think. This is Jeff Lemire's sort of love letter to DC crisis events. And he plays up with these tropes, and he plays with these things that happen in DC Crisis events, including like a giant reveal, a character change, a sudden shift of the paradigm, all of that stuff. This is the last issue of this, right? But I don't want to spoil it for you because your mileage may vary. But I will say, let's see how I can phrase this. The things that apparently Jeff Lemire likes about DC Crisis events are what bugs me about DC Crisis events in general. So I did not like this very much. I still love Jeff Lemire as an artist or as a writer. I like Caitlin Yarsky's art, although I liked Dean Ormstrom's art on the original run of Black Hammer much better. It's just a personal taste thing on there. I think Caitlin's pretty great. I like her covers a lot. I like Caitlin's covers a whole lot. But her interior art, it's good. But it's just I still prefer Dean. And I like the world of Black Hammer. I like the universe that he's created here. But this arc, it's not doing it for me. It didn't do it for me. It kind of like has been slipping. And this just kept slipping. And where it's going next, I'm not excited for. The original Black Hammer, I think, is fantastic. It's just this one is not. I don't know. It's fine, which I expect a whole lot more than fine out of this universe. So, all right, Han Solo and Chewbacca, it's fine. I'm mostly done reading Star Wars because it's usually a pretty disappointing thing. This is Matt Guggenheim on the writing and Messina on the art. The art is okay, very thickly inked. The artist does do a decent job from time to time of capturing Han Solo's likeness, which is hard to do. I don't like the cover. I don't think the cover does a great job. But there's a couple panels in here that they really do a good job of capturing a young Harrison Ford. And it's an okay heist book, which is what you're going to get in as far as this goes. It had an interesting conceit at in the first issue. It kind of falls flat for me in the second issue. It's not bad, but it's like fairly predictable in this one. There's nothing really surprising as far as like the story beats. There's details and stuff that might surprise you, but like it just really feels like very familiar, treading ground. And maybe that's the theme for this week. Almost everything in here feels like treading familiar ground, and not in a super great way. So, all right, I hate this place. Number one, also another book I had really high hopes for. It was Kyle Starks with Art M. Toplin and Lee Lowridge. Lee Lowridge, and the colors. Like the colors are great. They're probably the strength of the book. The writing, it's a horror book with horror setup where it explains the horror universe. Horror, I have to really enunciate. Somebody sent me a enunciation TikTok earlier that related to that word. Anyways, horror book with the art has this like kind of fluid, liquidy style to it, with like indie kind of underground proportions and stuff. I didn't hate that. I don't love it, but it's not bad by Art Toplin. The art is decent, and the story, it's fine. That's about the level it reaches for me. It's not great. It's not good enough for me to keep reading this because I just don't care. Nothing like the main characters, their situation didn't grab me enough to get me to care. The setup isn't interesting enough for me to like think, oh, that's cool. I'm going to read this. And yeah, it just feels like a B horror movie and not like a good one. So. I hate this book. I didn't hate the book. I don't know. It's fine. Kaiju Score. Steal from the Gods, number 2. I think they upped the cover quality. Not the art quality of the cover, but the paper quality. Great paper quality. So, kudos to that, Aftershock. Great, like, nice thick cardboard stock. This is set in the world of Kaiju Score, this is the second sort of heist book. It's, the idea is, like, there's Kaiju Score. It's a heist that takes, or some kind of like caper, some kind of crime that gets planned and takes place in the world where there's large Godzilla-like creatures, the kaiju. Interesting enough setup. The first volume I really enjoyed. I like the first issue of this second volume a lot, and this issue is okay, like fine plus. This is the explainy issue, the setty-uppy issue, the hey, we're getting ready for the heist issue. We're not really doing the heist for the most part issue. So it's just kind of one of those transitional things. Kind of hard to really judge it. It's going to read better, I think, as a trade. I'm hoping. Like it's the next issue. There's probably gonna be something that goes horribly wrong, and we'll go from there. It's kind of like hits those familiar heist beats, and either this one or the other one that I'm going to get to in the list. One of them actually references watching Ocean's 11. I think it might be the other book. I can't remember, but like the Ocean's 11 is another one of those heist movies where you're like, okay, it's hitting all those beats and like pretty self-referential. I don't think it's Kaiju Score. I do think it's the next one, which is Breakout #2, but not bad. Just not the strongest issue of the series or the thus far. All right. Yeah. The Shaolin Cowboy, Cruel to be Kin #1. This is Jeff Darrow in the Jeff Darrow world. It is light on story. It is ridiculous. It's told from mostly the point of view of a lizard. And it's just a visual Jeff Darrow drawing what Jeff Darrow wants to draw in a very Jeff Darrow kind of way. I was going to say Jeff Darrow like 8,000 times. Highly detailed, ridiculous fight scenes. That's kind of what it is. You get lizards fighting. You get the Shaolin Cowboy, this sort of Buddhist monk type character with a umbrella fighting giant jellyfish squid and flying dinosaurs and riding dinosaur bones. The story does not make a lot of sense, but it's gorgeous. I mean, Jeff Darrow does these super detailed drawings that are just fantastic to look at, and he just sort of plays around. I think he realizes it's not crazy deep and that's not his intention. He just wants to have fun, and so this is a fun, weird ass book. I would probably say wait for trade paperback on it unless you absolutely love his art. You're not going to get a whole lot new out of this. You can read and look at the first volume of Shaolin Cowboy. Also gorgeous, light on story, just ridiculous, over the top action and that's kind of it. So that's what you're in for with this one too. It's gorgeous. It's just, and doesn't make a lot of sense. Nightwing, what is this? 92. There's a cool homage to George Perez in here. And it's Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo's back on the art on this issue. And it's a solid issue. Not a whole lot happens in this one. It's like Tom Taylor's kind of rehashing what he's, not rehashing, but he's revisiting the themes he's set up already. Like it's like Nightwing owes a lot to Alfred. That's this issue. He's already done that, and so like he keeps hammering that home, and instead of like progressing a whole lot else forward. It's fine. It's just not the most fun issue of the bunch. There have been a lot of issues of this run that have been a lot of fun, and this one it's okay. It's good, great looking, and it's decent. Again, probably fine plus. Not fantastic, but not awful. All right, next. The heist issue, where they explain everything, right? And there's an homage to Ocean's 11. Breakout #2. Yeah, Zach Kaplan on the writing, Wilton Santos on the art, and this is a gorgeous book. It's a weird idea. These giant cubes floating above the planet that capture kids. And then there's kids trying to rescue other kids. So is it Red Dawn? Not really. It's not. But that's the easiest way to set it up. And in the first issue, you kind of learn the motivations as far as why the kids want to rescue the other kids. I mean, there's a sibling that gets abducted. So the siblings are now trying to plan an escape. That's this. This is the training montage. Like, that's what this is. Not a ton happens in this one. There's the self-doubty bit. There's the training montage. It hits on familiar beats. There's somebody stepping in to offer help. I mean, it is just bam, bam, bam. Familiar beats. That's this week. It's better, I think, than the Kaiju Score. A lot of that's based on the strength. It's really dialogue heavy and really kind of like, not exposition, but it's just there's a lot of like, again, just kind of repeating that the main character of this book wants to rescue his brother, doesn't trust anybody. Wants to rescue his brother, doesn't trust anybody. It's like bam, bam. It just felt kind of like it should have gone further in this issue. I'm still interested to see where it goes. I'll still keep it up, and I'll probably still get this one from issue to issue. So Probably, again, still fine plus. Like, the order on this week is pretty soft and loose. There is nothing that's going to hit, like, a super high peak for me. And we only have 2 left. So next, we have World's Finest number 3, Mark Waid and Dan Mora. This is Mark Waid putting in a solid effort. I said that last issue, and that's this issue too. Dan Mora's art is fantastic. Dan Mora's the art, I think, is again the strength of this book. He's drawing characters you can tell he loves and doing a great job of it. And Mark Waid is doing a solid version, his version of World's Finest. Instead of it being every issue is a new story. I mean, there kind of is, but it's a longer form version of the like a revamping or retelling or volume. Words are hard, people. Longer volume of of storytelling. Or God damn it, that's not. I'm butchering. You know what I mean? Hopefully, if not, I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm just a hot muddled mess at this point. There are things like that wrap up every issue, but it is like this is going to be a story arc, a longer volume story arc. Probably I'm guessing 4 or 5 issue story arc. And Tamara Bonneville's coloring is great. It's a timeless tale. You don't know if it's set in modern times. You get Robin, you get Supergirl, you get Superboy, you get no, you don't get Superboy. That's a different one. But you get Batman and Superman being quippy, and you can tell they're old hats and are chums and have been doing this for a while. You get the new mysterious villain that's trying to take over the world. Kind of familiar beats, like and that's this week. This is one of the better versions of that this week, though, so that's why it's fairly high on the list. All right, next, Past the Last Mountain. This is an anthology book, and it's a bizarre one. It's a CEX Publishing, Comics Experience Publishing. I'm not familiar with them. I thought it was an interesting idea to put it on my FOC list. It's all written by, I think, Paul Aller. Aller's the last name. Different artists throughout here, and it's all set in a universe where fairy tales are reared, like fables, or like at least fairy tale creatures. There's dragons, there's goblins, there's trolls, there's centaurs, and you're kind of thrown into this world where humans are at war with all of them, and like it's mostly it's mostly from the point of of the monsters, quote unquote, for the most part, where the humans are the real monsters. Oh, you get it? It's deep. It's familiar. But the art is pretty uneven. So, like, I like the first arc, the first story, the art is quite a bit, and it kind of like went downhill from there. It has a unique enough premise, and I think the one writer being in control and writing all of this issue really helped to like push it to the top of this week's list. Is it fantastic? No. Is it great? It's good. It's good. And it's probably my favorite book of the week. Although, again, this week was really hard for me to pick an order. I do like the idea of like the humans at war with the monsters. I like the idea that the humans are the real monsters, and I like the anthology part of it all. It was $6, and you get it's $6, and you get a lot for it. It's a square bound. I don't know how many pages it is, but it's a thick boy. And in a week where like there's not a lot of great stuff out, if your LCS got this, I'd say go pick it up. It might be a hard one to find because it's a smaller publisher, and like I said, I haven't heard of them before. So good luck. Sorry that my favorite book is one that maybe you're not gonna be able to find, but maybe you can read it digitally. I don't know, or contact the publisher. Yeah, this is my favorite book of the week. I don't want to spoil a whole lot of it, and like there's not actually a ton to spoil because each of these little stories are little vignettes, and I think it's going to keep continuing. At least I think the A story is going to go longer. The rest of it feels like the main longest story in here is not done being told, but the backup stories I think are just like 1 or 2 page to 3, maybe 3 or 4 page finished little snippets that you don't need anything else to continue. So I think the writing was solid, and the writing is definitely what pushed this one to the top. So that's what I've got. Nothing super. I mean, honestly, like it was not the best week in the world for this stuff. There's weeks where I'm like, oh, I love comics. I could do this all day. And these were kind of a struggle to get through. I'm late getting this video done because I just kind of like took, not because I was taking my sweet time, but because nothing in here was like crazy exciting for me. And like my problem was I read this one first, and it was all kind of downhill from there. So I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is. I will see you next week. Don't be a dick, even if, I don't know, everything's just fine. Familiar beats. Like these videos, my familiar wrap-up and my comforting face. One bite, everybody knows the rules. I'll see you later.